Hello there. Thank you for joining me. I'm Chef Tom. Welcome to my kitchen. And today I'm going to show you a real treat. It's a specialty Italian dish called braciole. My grandparents both immigrated from Italy through Ellis Island, the melting pot, the whole thing, and they brought with them their heritage and their culture. So I was really privileged every Sunday afternoon growing up to go to their home for Sunday dinner, and this was one of the courses that was prepared in a Sunday afternoon dinner. So this braciole is a meat dish, and it's prepared and cooked in the tomato sauce and served as one of the courses. If you've ever heard of that expression, soup to nuts, Italian meals began with soup. There were a bunch of series of courses in the middle and ended with the nut bowl being brought out after dessert. So there's the expression soup to nuts, and one of those courses was a meat course. Yeah, so these meat bundles are a course that was served. You had soup, and then you had a pasta course, and then a vegetable course, and then a meat course. That's where this comes in. Then, let's see, after meat, salad. Salad was served later in the meal in a European tradition. And then the dessert, and finally the nut bowl comes out. So there's soup to nuts. All right, so without further ado, I'm going to point the camera down and show you what I'm up to here. Let me do that. Get you our little workstation. What we're going to do is begin with a little piece of top round. So you can have your butcher slice this nice and thin for you. And I'm just going to use the knife to score it lightly. Pardon me. We got some items prepped up here. I've got some minced garlic, some chopped raisins. You want to chop those up so that they dissipate into the dish. I've got some toasted pine nuts and a little chopped parsley and a little grated Romano cheese. So, step one, just a tiny little pinch of garlic in there. No, I don't want to overpower this. It's not a heavy garlic dish. A little sprinkle of ground black pepper, a little salt, just for fun, and then a few pine nuts. So there's going to be this little bundle at the center of the braciole. Okay, a little cheese. Extra little raisin. Okay, so that's going to be at the center, and then what we're going to do is take some of this chopped raisin stuff, and that's a technical term, stuff. Spread that throughout the braciole so that it's kind of like a jelly roll style. All right, and what else we got? A little parsley. Sprinkle that in there. So at one end we got our bundle, special treasure inside, and then throughout just the raisin and parsley. And I'm just going to wrap that up, roll this up, not particularly tightly, but snug. And then as I go along, I'm just going to slightly tuck in these edges so that the bundle stays together. Okay, get this rolled right up like that. You can see it. And then the final step, take a little kitchen twine. Got a couple of pieces here. This is about a 8-inch length of twine. Basically, you just need enough to go around the bundle, around the braciole, and give you a few tails to work with so you can tie it off. All right, and then once more over here. Bingo. Nice little square knot on there. Any knot will do. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is just trim the tails of this string off of here. So there you go. That's assembled. The next step is going to be to brown it and cook it in the sauce. And I'll show you one more of these while we're at it here. Grab another piece of top round here. Okay, so I'm going to take my knife, just do a light little score. I'm not really putting much pressure on this. I'm just kind of tapping it with the knife, little crisscross pattern, help tenderize without pounding the meat. And we got our secret little bundle in the middle, pinch of garlic, some pine nuts, raisins, and a little sprinkle of cheese. Get that in there. And, oh yeah, salt and pepper. Gotta do that. Okay, parsley throughout. Little raisins throughout. And here we go. We're rolling it up. And about halfway through, tuck over the edges, almost like you're making a burrito. Pretty much like you're making a burrito, except pretty far from a burrito. And there we go. We got our bundle. Get some string. You can find this kitchen string in your grocery store. It's just cotton twine. You want to make sure you use cotton so that it doesn't get into your food. Like if you use some other material of string that's artificial, nylon or something like that, that's not going to be so great. I'm going to cut this piece a little short, but I'll be able to tie it off because I'm a professional. And we just need to hold it together while it cooks. That's all we're trying to do here. The other one. So again, once we've got these assembled, I'll show you the next step after I put them all together. We're going to brown it and then plop it in the sauce, and here we go. We're on our way. Catch you in a few minutes. Guess who? Okay, so here we are. We're back and it's time for step 2. What we're doing is just browning the brachiole. All right, just got it in the pan, just getting it brown on every side to sear it and give it some color so that after it cooks in the sauce, it will be appealing and look nice. And there you go. So that's step 2. Once it's all browned, we'll plop it in our tomato sauce and let it cook slowly, tender, because remember, this is top round. It's not a particularly lean, tender cut, so it's going to benefit from that slow cooking, stewing, cooking style. Alright, so when we get to the sauce step, I'll be back. Okay, here we are back with our brachiole, and it's time for the next step. We're going to put this into the sauce and let it cook low and slow. So here we have our pot of sauce, and you can see I got the brachiole in here. Where are we? Okay. So it's just got a single layer of the brachioles down here and just enough sauce to cover it. I'm doing that so that I can keep an eye on them and check them as they go along. Because if you cook them for too long, if you just throw them in the sauce and forget them all day, they'll fall apart. You don't really want that. So there we go. Just enough sauce to cover the brachiole. You can see them in here. Right. Going to be fantastic. And it'll probably take about an hour or so for them to cook on just a real low simmer, just a few little bubbles at the surface. I've got a nice heavy Le Creuset pan here, so it'll cook nice and evenly. And if you want to know what's in the sauce, you're going to have to subscribe to the channel because that's a whole nother video. All right, we'll be back. Okay, here we are now. Finishing up our brachiole, and it's been cooking in the sauce. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. What is the final finished result? So I'm going to point the camera down at the dish, and we're going to cut into this little guy. And let's get in the camera. There we go. All right. So here it is. Got that string on there. Yep, we're going to get rid of that. But see, it's just kind of falling apart, how tender it is. I can pull it apart with the knife and the fork. And there's our treasure chest inside. Raisins, pine nuts, all those good goodies in there. And I'm going to scoop this up with a little bit of sauce. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Melt in your mouth, delicious. So, a traditional Sunday dinner, this would become the meat course. We start out with soup, and move on to pasta. And, you know, I'm just going to take a side note here. In Italy, pasta is part of the meal. When you look on a box of a 1 pound box of pasta on the side, and it says 8 servings, right? Americans are like, what are you kidding me? I'm going to eat half of this box. What do you? No. In Italy, that is 8 servings because they have it as part of the meal in moderation. All right, so soup, pasta, vegetable, meat course, salad, dessert, the nut bowl, soup to nuts. And this is an important piece of that experience. Thank you all for joining me. It's been a pleasure, and hope you give you a chance to try this out for yourself. Brachiole. Have a great night.